Welcome everyone to our introduction to the MATLAB Fundamentals Training. I'm Lajos Varga. Today's agenda is as follows. We will start with an introduction of who we are as Gamma3 Solutions, and we will also introduce MATLAB for those not familiar with the product. Then we will move on to the main part of the presentation, which will introduce our training offerings and also show you what you can learn from this training and if you should attend. We will close this presentation with conclusions and a call to action. We are Gamma3 Laboratory Solutions, your partner with everything MATLAB. We have been an exclusive distributor partner of the MathWorks for more than 20 years, selling MATLAB, delivering trainings, providing consulting and support to a huge range of customers in the Central Eastern European region. My name is Lajos Varga. I'm the Application Engineering Manager at Gamma3 Laboratory Solutions. My background is in electrical engineering, signal processing, and wireless communication systems. In the last decade, I've helped our customers with R&D projects including communications, engineering, aerodef, healthcare, finance industries, and more. In this webinar, I'm representing a team of expert application engineers. Together with, we are delivering the professional services of Gamma3 Laboratory Solutions for you. Let's talk about what is MATLAB. On the one hand, MATLAB can be considered as a high-level programming language, enabling you to tackle your challenges as efficiently, as swiftly as possible. But MATLAB is also an interactive programming environment that helps you speed up your exploration of data and the building of your software and algorithms. MATLAB is used in a plethora of industries and application areas, including numerical computation, data visualization and analysis, algorithm development, and application development and deployment. If we talk about MATLAB, it's important to mention that the core product, MATLAB, is supported by a huge range of add-on products, most notably our simulation and model-based design tool, Simulink, and a wide range of application-specific products that help you in specific industry and application areas such as computational finance, signal processing, rapid prototyping, verification and validation, and so much more. But today's focus will be on our MATLAB core product and our MATLAB Fundamentals Training. Let's move on to the second part of the presentation, which deals with our training offerings, and you will also see what can you learn from our MATLAB Fundamentals Training. In general, our trainings use professional-grade MathWorks material that is presented worldwide to engineers and scientists to have a time-efficient skill development for you. You will learn, if you attend our trainings, in 1, 2, or 3 days, so much more than what you could learn yourself in a matter of weeks. Our trainings are hands-on, so you will have a chance to use a computer and work along others and with an expert instructor towards gaining all your knowledge and solving all the challenges included in the training. We believe it is very important for each and every attendant to get the most value out of the training. That's why we deliver trainings in small classes of 5 to 10 people. And today we will focus on the MATLAB Fundamentals Training, but it's important to mention that we have a wide range of trainings covering beginner level all the way to domain experts. Coming back to our MATLAB Fundamentals Training offering, this is a 3-day training with the main idea being setting you up and running with MATLAB and more as fast and as efficiently as possible. Let me use an analogy here at this point. If your task or if your idea is to build a very nice and complicated castle, well, you need to start somewhere. If you have to build a complicated castle, what you need to learn first is those tools of the construction industry, which are shown on the slide. You need to learn what is a brick, what is a shovel, what is a saw, and the others. You can consider our MATLAB Fundamentals training as a way to learn the tools of the trade, as a way to get started with what is available in MATLAB and how to use it. And if you get started with our MATLAB Fundamentals training, you will have an easy way all the way then to get to a point where you will be able to build your own castle, where you will be able to make your own algorithm or process your own data. If I only had one slide, that would be this one, which you can see right now. This is an overview of the topics covered in the MATLAB Fundamentals training, starting with the import and analysis of data, performance of calculations on data sets, visualization of data, and the programming automation of complex tasks. You can see the detailed course outline of the MATLAB Fundamentals training. For example, in the first day, we'll cover variables and commands with vectors. The second day starts with analysis of matrices and ends with organizing data. And at the end of the third day, we'll also learn how to use functions and programming constructs. There's an even more detailed information for this training available on our website as a PDF. You can go to the link you can see at the bottom of the slide, and then you can see for each and every chapter the details which are included in the training. Within this webinar, in the next minutes, I'd like to show you a couple of examples of applications and calculations which are done in MATLAB throughout the MATLAB Fundamentals training. We will start the training on the first day with getting started and getting used to the MATLAB user interface. So if you haven't used MATLAB before, that's not a problem. We will learn what is the tool strip. We will learn what is the workspace and what is the use of the workspace. And we will also learn about the editor and the command window. At this point, we can also do some very basic calculations in MATLAB. So let's say we create two variables, A and B. If we want to add these two variables and put the result into the variable C, it's very easy to do. You just need to type the basic mathematical description of what you'd like to reach to the command line of MATLAB. This is very easy and straightforward. You might say, well, what's new for me in this one? And at this point, I'd like to highlight a distinctive feature of MATLAB, which is its ability to deal with matrices natively. So for example, if I redefine the A variable as a 3x3 unity matrix, and if I make the B variable a 3x3 magic square, so now A and B are both matrices, 3x3 matrices. If I want to multiply these two matrices, I can use the same syntax as before, just instead of plus, I use the multiplication. And MATLAB natively multiplies these two matrices for me. The important point here is MATLAB is specifically designed for engineers and scientists. It works the way these people think, and it operates with the syntax which is exactly coming from the fundamental mathematics. So if you want to, as it was done in this example, multiply two matrices, you don't need to implement, for example, nested for loops. You just need to write the expression the way how you would at a linear algebra class. Dealing with vectors and matrices is covered in detail in the first day of the course. Let's see what else is included in the course. We will, in the next section, talk about the table data type, and a specific example which is included in the course is the analysis of the Premier League football standing with teams like Manchester United, Arsenal, and Liverpool included. This example is showing you the different data types which are available in MATLAB. And we will be asking the question, which football team wins the Premier League and why? Let's have a look at this specific example. So here we have a table. The table is, again, a native data type in MATLAB. We have this table with all the teams, and this table is now ordered by home wins in a descending order. So We will analyze this data set in detail throughout the training. We will deal with something called the goal differential, for example. The goal differential is the difference between the goals scored for and against each team. And we will analyze the goal difference of each team when playing at their home stadium versus when they were playing away. In this figure, what you can see is each circle here represents a team. So this might be Liverpool or Manchester United or another team. And what we can see is that most of the circles are below the 45-degree line. And as the horizontal axis is the goal difference at home and the vertical axis is the goal difference at away, it's immediately prevalent that people of these teams score more teams when playing at home than at playing away. So this gives us an idea of where to go if we want to search for the recipe for winning the Premier League. And this is what we will do throughout this course. We will analyze this data set in detail with the scores, with the managers of the teams, and many more. The next part is about interactively visualize and explore some data. And we will talk about the electricity consumption data of the United States. We will be using a real-life example, which can be seen on this figure. This is a three-dimensional representation of the electricity consumption of the United States of America, with one axis being the years from 1990 all the way to 2015, and the other axis going from 1 to 12. These are the months of that specific year. So if I select a data point here in this figure, this is, for example, from the year's perspective, the year 2000, the 6th month of the year, and what we can immediately see, it's 8.89 times 10 to the 12th watt-hours, which is the electricity consumption. You can move around and see other data points here, but if you want to do an interactive data analysis, what you can also do is you can manipulate this three-dimensional figure around, and if you go to a point of view coming in from the years, what is immediately visible in the figure as that the electricity consumption was going up steadily in the last 25 years in the United States. We didn't need to do any calculations. We can immediately see this in the figure. But here is more. If we rotate this figure around by 90 degrees and have a look at it from the point of view of the months, so from January to December, what we can see is the trend of the electricity consumption within a year. We see that the 6th and 7th and 8th months are the highest with electricity consumption. This is because of the electric air conditioners operating in these months in the United States. So now we have identified a trend within the year of this data set. We will analyze this data set in detail. We will provide smoothing, we'll do averaging, and we will also make predictions on the electricity consumption of the United States in the upcoming years. And based on that predictions, we will try to figure out an estimated price of the electricity in the United States at the upcoming years and months. This, for example, might be used by an electricity trader to set options for future prices of electricity. Then our next example is a more detailed data analysis task where we do data validation, conditional data selection, and often with time series data we have missing data points, just as you can see in this figure here. For example, if a computer is calculating and measuring and logging data, sometimes the computers shut down and reboot and we have missing data here. We will learn how to substitute this missing data to have a complete data set. Also, we will be looking for answers to questions like how the Swiss franc is correlated to other currencies. And let's have a look at this example in MATLAB. So if we talk about correlations, two things are correlated if they move the same way. If the price of the Swiss franc goes up the same way as the price of another currency, then we mean they are correlated. This figure is a plot of two currencies. On the horizontal axis, you can see the price of the Swiss franc in US dollars. On the vertical axis, you can see the price of the Canadian dollar, again nominated at US dollars. And each circle represents a specific point of time when, for example, in this case, the price of the Swiss franc was 1.4 and the price of the Canadian dollar was 1.56 US dollars. If these two were correlated, what we would expect is some sort of line, a linear relationship between the price of these two. So it's immediately prevalent from this figure that these two have no or very small correlation. We will analyze this data set in detail, and we will also learn that if we correlate the Swiss franc with other European currencies, then we see a more linear approach and a more linear correlation plot, meaning that these two are moving the same way. Whenever the Swiss franc is more expensive in US dollars, then the other currency is going the same direction. And during the training, we will also implement what can be seen at the top right corner of this slide, which is called plot matrix. If you want to compare the correlations visually of more than two variables, of more than two sets of data, plot matrix is a very nice way to do that. We will learn the details of it in the training. Our next example is about programming constructs. Programming constructs help you to automate your programming effort, and with programming constructs you can define for loops, decision branching such as if-else statements, and so much more. One example of the programming constructs which we will be using in the course is something called a random walk. Let's see what a random walk is. Let me just make this a little bit bigger for you. So a random walk is defined as follows. We have a coordinate system and we start from point 0, 0 in this two-dimensional coordinate system, and we do iteration steps. At each iteration, we decide if we want to go up, if we want to go down, if we want to go right or to the left, and we randomly decide on one of these directions and take a step of 1 unit. So now we are at point 1, 0, and we would need to continue this random walk as long as we are within this circle of +10 and -10 along the two axes. Let's see how this random walk finishes in this time. So this time it has taken 163 steps walking randomly to get to the edge of this square. If we run it one more time, simulation, the random data will be different. Now it's 197. And we exit the random walk at another location. We will program this random walk ourselves. We will also work with other programming constructs for you to learn and get started and get up to speed with them. So this is another point which is going to be covered in the training. Up until now, I have provided you a couple of examples of topics covered in the MATLAB Fundamentals Training. It's important to note again that the training contains much more than what has been shown in this webinar. So you can see the course outline on the slide, and you can always go to our PDF file, which contains the details of each and every chapter of this MATLAB Fundamentals course. Now let's talk about who should attend this MATLAB Fundamentals training. If you want to attend the MATLAB Fundamentals training, I think you are one of these 3 target profiles. If you are completely new to programming and you want to get started, the MATLAB Fundamentals training is a perfect point of entry into the world of programming. We will start from the basics, start from scratch, and get you up to speed. If you already know programming but are new to MATLAB, again, the MATLAB Fundamentals training will equip you with all the knowledge which you can base on your existing knowledge of other programming languages, and then you can move on to even more complicated programming applications. The third target profile, which might sound a little bit interesting, is I'm also recommending the MATLAB Fundamentals training for people who already know MATLAB, but they want to learn more. One reason of this being is that if you have used MATLAB for some time already, you might have used it for your specific area of application. The MATLAB Fundamentals training provides a wide range of features and gives you an overall knowledge of the tool, so you will get more out of it than what you might have used already. And also, if you are an intermediate or even an advanced level MATLAB user, And if you want to take your skills to the next level, MATLAB Fundamentals Training is an entry point to our 60+ trainings, which cover a plethora of topics, including MATLAB programming techniques, Simulink, polyspace, embedded code generation, and much more. So if you want to take it from the advanced user to the expert level user, I would highly suggest and recommend for you to follow through our training courses. This brings me to the end of the webinar. Let's talk about what is to come and what I would suggest for you to do now. In this webinar, you have learned about us and about our training offerings. You have learned what is the topic of our MATLAB Fundamentals training. If you want to attend any of our trainings, please have a look at our website. We organize trainings regularly in our partner countries in English and in other languages. Reach out to us at contact@gammax.hu if you want to have more information. If you want to learn more about the specific details of our trainings, you can also go to our training website directly, where you will learn about the detailed agenda of all of our trainings. Let me also mention that the latest release of MATLAB, release 2018A, has just come out a couple of weeks ago. If you want to see what is the latest and greatest in this product, feel free to ask for a completely free trial of MATLAB, which is available on our website. If you want to ask any questions to follow up this webinar, reach out to us at contact@gammax.hu. But now is again the time to have also a live Q&A session. So if you want to learn more, if you want to ask a live question, feel free to enter your question to the chat window of WebEx, and I'll be back to you soon. So now you have some time. Please type your questions live into the chat window of WebEx, and I will be back to you with an answer. Thank you very much for your questions. One question was if we can go to specifically to your company to deliver the trainings. And I have good news for you. We deliver trainings in a public manner when everyone can come. And we also delivering private trainings. So if you have multiple people interested at your company, we might be going specifically to the site of your company, and we can deliver our trainings locally. So if you have questions on our trainings or any additional questions, please follow up at contact@gammax.hu. This brings us to the end of this webinar. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to learn more, please go to gammaxlabsol.com or write us at contact@gammax.hu. Thank you very much and have a nice day.